Okay, good morning. Hey BL, hey ViXP, how you doing? Hope you're all well. Good afternoon, good morning. A little bit early today. It is, we're doing it 1.5 hours earlier because we are doing, we'll get through some of the analysis and then we'll head into the 2 p.m. GMT plus 8 UK CPI data release. Hopefully we'll find some good trade setups there that we can look at together. Okay, so this is, that's why we're doing this session a little bit earlier for today. Tomorrow we are back to the usual schedule of 3 p.m. GMT plus 8. So good to see all of you here joining me on this session. Let's hope we get some good trades going. Good morning, Pips Apprentice. How are you doing? Hey, Ishmael. Good morning. How are you doing? So a quick risk disclaimer. This live market analysis is sponsored by Max Global Markets, a brokerage firm that is registered with and regulated by the Monetary Authority of Singapore, the MAS. Max Global Markets has no control over or influence over the content of this analysis, which was generated by an independent party. So please remember that the information in this analysis is offered solely for educational and informational reasons and does not constitute investment advice. So please make sure that you do your own analysis, you understand the risk before you jump into any trades. With that said, let's get going. Ishmael says, can already see a change in the market structure on cable. Well, it's forming up. It's forming up quite nicely. That's the pound dollar at this point right now at 1.2185. Just tick to 1.2185. So let me know, what do you guys think is likely to happen on the pound dollar? Are you looking for a move? I mean, before we get into the details of this, are you looking for a move towards that resistance level? Or do you think we're going to see that reversal back down to the support? Let me know, okay? So before we head into the finer details of that news release at 2 p.m., we have about less than 30 minutes right now to the CPI year on year for the UK. It was 6.7. It's expected to be a 6.6. I feel that any lower number below 6.7 or below, we're likely to see an upward push on the pound dollar. We might see some strength come back into play. So do let me know, what do you think or what you're expecting to see. Okay, since the last time we spoke yesterday at 8:30 p.m. GMT plus 8, we did have the Canadians with their CPI data and also the US with their retail sales number being released. A little bit surprising here at 8:30, looking at the US retail sales number first, it was 0.6, got revised up to 0.8%. At 0.6, with market expectation was a 0.3, it was released at 0.7%. Core retail sales was, again, 0.6, got revised up to 0.9. Expected 0.2, came out at a 0.6. So this was somewhat, if you refer back to yesterday's video or yesterday's live stream, I was a little bit surprised or concerned that the markets were expecting or had a forecast that retail sales and core retail sales was expected to drop from 0.6 to 0.3, from 0.6 to 0.2. So I was actually thinking that it should be a good number, and it did come out as a good number at that 0.7 and 0.6 level. What we saw in this case at 8:30 on the dollar index, zooming in right here, is that we did see the dollar react quite positively to that news release, right? So it was at 106 almost 106.15 on the news release. It pushed up to the 106.50 level, but then after that came right back down to test that 61.8 fib retracement level again. So it's pretty much done what we expected. We were expecting for it to come down to this level, bounce around this point before pushing back up. Right now, dollar again pushing slightly to the downside, right back down to that 61.8 level. It looks like we might actually see, if it does push down further, or if it does break that 61.8, we might not see it bounce back up. We might actually see it continue lower again, right? Especially if we see the pound dollar gather more strength or recover in strength again. So right now, the dollar index is sitting at that 106.14 level. What else happened since the last time we spoke? We saw the RBA Governor Bullock speaking, or we heard them speak at 6:35 a.m. Fireside chat about the current economic climate. Headliner was yet to see full impact of past rate hikes on consumption. All right, the Israel-Hamas war, not as big a shock as COVID. Right, so it seems like they might be over that, but we are seeing the Aussie dollar gain a bit more strength, pushing back up. A little bit surprising here was the GDP number for the Chinese quarter on year, where it was released at a 4.9. That kind of took the market by surprise. Everyone's talking about how Chinese GDP is growing, while you see a headline there, while the dollar stalls as Chinese data surprises. Okay, so Chinese data beat overshadowed by Middle East foreboding, and the yuan strengthens as a set of strong economic data boosts sentiments. So there seems to be some good news coming from the Chinese, which is also leading to that downward push on the dollar index at this point in time. We might actually see that continue down, like I was saying, if we see that pound dollar or the cable continue to strengthen. And then we have CPI data for the UK, and then not much else. I'm not expecting too much here for the Eurozone. CPI data to be released at 5 p.m. GMT +8, and then not much else all the way through to tomorrow, where we have Aussie employment numbers, US employment numbers, and then this is the big one on Friday midnight, GMT +8, Fed Chair Powell speaking. This is at the Economic Club of New York luncheon. Typically, I would say that at such an event, we won't see much volatility on the dollar, but Chair Powell has some habit of releasing some comments during such events. So that's something to pay attention to. We might see increased volatility on the dollar index during this news event. Okay, but that's on Friday. The focus is for today, with not much else apart from the CPI data to be released in 20 minutes. So let's quickly look at the Kiwi dollar, right? We were thinking that it could have broken support to head lower, did not trigger. That trade did not work out or did not trigger. It continued to find support between 5880 and 5860. Good support level here found, or support area here found. And we see that pushing back up. All right, we see it pushing back up at this moment. In this case, if you look at this, we see it coming towards at 23.6 level. It could push up further with 38.2 at this point. What I would be looking out for is if the Kiwi dollar can break past 5929 or 5930. Right, that would be now clearing above 23.6, breaking past yesterday's high, where we could see this continue to push up. This is with the expectation that we might see the dollar index trade to the downside, especially if it breaks below 61.8. Okay, so now I'm looking at this, today being the 18th, we're looking for the dollar to again test 106, which is at 61.8 retracement level. All right, and if it breaks 106, we could see it test 105.60 that way. All right, so now it's sitting at this point, looking for it to break to the downside. It's not decided yet. It's not decided yet, but we're looking for it to break to the downside. That makes sense. I'll take that 50% away, and I'll take that one away because it's not relevant anymore. So if that pushes down to 61, okay, I'm happy with that. Okay, so that's the view, possibly looking at further downside here on the dollar index. So that explains why we're looking at a continuation of that range, right? You see the, let me do that. Okay, you see the Kiwi dollar in the range, right, in a pretty wide range since the 6th of September. It's found that support, slowly pushed up towards that 0.6045 level, came back down, tested support, pushed back up, tested resistance, and then right back down again. So at this point, what I would be looking out for on the Kiwi dollar is if it breaks above 5930, you could even wait a little bit more and say 5945. Right, 5945, 20 pip stop just below that previous high, and then you could take it. The first level would be that 61.8, which is a 40 pip move to the upside, a 1:2. And then if that continues up, you could drag this up and move your stop loss to break even. So that's what I would be looking out for on the Kiwi dollar, is further dollar weakness. We'll be looking to buy this up 0.5945, stop loss 20, take profit 40 pips to the upside. Okay, and then onto the Aussie dollar. Did not happen so far, right? Look at that. We were looking for it to break to the downside. First move did not trigger, so we take that one away. It's still well within the channel, right? We can actually stretch that channel out a little bit, and then we'll see that being well in the channel. At this point, with expectation for dollar weakness to continue, I've removed away the, let me just do that. I've removed away those selling setups that we saw yesterday, anticipating that dollar weakness for this to push down. What I would be looking out for is a bit of a smaller trade. If it breaks above 6.4, if it breaks above 0.64, you'd have a 35 pip move to the upside, very tight stop loss, no more than 15 pips. This could be a short, a very quick trade. Right, we saw that break that level, so it came down. Now it's breaking above 61.8, but as it breaks above 61, or now breaking above 61.8, wouldn't get in yet because we do have a resistance level right there. So above 0.64, 35 to 15 pips, that's what I would do. Okay, buy 0.64. Hey Alam, how you doing? Stop loss 15, take profit 35. Right, guys, if you do have any questions at any point in time, please feel free to put it into the chat. If you can help me out massively, do remember to click that like and subscribe button on YouTube and or on TradingView, that little rocket ship button. And yes, Hayat said we are 13 minutes away from the UK news release. This was what happened on the, so we still have time, don't stress about it. This is what happened on the US yen on the H1 time frame. Yesterday at 6 p.m. GMT plus 8, we saw it climb up to that 149, almost 149.70, in fact 149.76 level, before a big spike down to 148.70. A good 100 pips move to the downside, lasted only for that couple of minutes before it spiked right back up and continued a little bit to the upside. So there's a view on the US yen. I don't know what happened here, right? I don't know what happened on this spike. We were talking about it on Discord. We were, thinking, is this a stealth intervention? Is this a trial intervention? Is this a fat finger? Nothing's been said. We don't know what's happening there. But what we know is that it looks like it's resuming back towards upside. It's possibly going to consolidate here at this point. Okay, so this is still being supported to the upside. Right, this is still being supported to push higher, even if I took these points here. Right, even if I took these points here, I do still see this pushing up, even despite more like a few seconds. Yeah, it just spiked right back down and then shot right up. Again, digressing a little bit, this is on a 1 minute time frame. You see that if you tried to catch this, if you did not have a pending order, if you did not sell already, trying to catch this, within the minute it spiked down, next minute it's back up. This is also why you need your Bollinger Bands to keep you in check. Okay, so that was a move that if anyone told you they caught that, it was very speculative. I'll be a bit concerned. But if not, then what I'm still looking out for here on the US yen is for price to still come back up towards that 150. I kind of like this move, although we don't have a real reason of why this move happened, but I kind of like this move because it shows us that there are either intention to intervene, maybe, or it shows us that there are a lot of orders waiting to sell, right? All you need is a spike up to trigger those orders, and then you see it come crashing down. So I'm really particularly looking for it to come up to that 150 level, very similar to what it did here. It came as high as 150.16 before it came crashing down. So I'm looking, again, still waiting for it to push back up to this level before triggering that sell to the downside. So that's what I'm watching out for. I'll keep that view there for the US yen. Okay, dollar index is still pushing to the downside right now. We are heading towards the pound dollar. 10 minutes to the news event, pound dollar, the cables right now at 1.2187 or almost 1.2190. The safest thought, the safest option we can have is that if CPI is released at 6.7 or below, right? If CPI is released at 6.7 or below, most likely what I'm anticipating to see is a continued or strengthening of the pound dollar, right? A strengthening of cable which is where we would see this push to the upside. Okay, if I'm suddenly go a little bit quiet, it might be because I'm entering a trade on my MP4 on my other screen here. So just bear with me. But what I'm looking out for is a safer option for most of you. If you're not looking to take on more risk or trying to minimize your risk, you could be looking at 1.2230, 40 pip move to the upside, stop loss no more than 20 pips. We're just trying to catch that move up. Okay, for that to trigger, where is it? For that to trigger, it needs to move about 40 pips before we'll see the full 80 pip move to the upside. Thanks, man. Right, a full 80 pips move to the upside. Could this news event lead to 80 pip move to the upside? Possibly. Why I say that? I feel like I'm under the crunch right now. It's 7 minutes to the news. Why I think it could move a good 80 pips up is because if you look at it on Thursday last week, US CPI was a 3.7, expected to be 3.6, came out at a 3.7. So it's showing you that inflation growth in the US has not that it's slowed down, but it's maintained at a low level at 3.7, very close to their 2 to 3% target. And yet, on Thursday at 8:30 p.m., what we saw was this. Right, zoom it in a little bit. On Thursday at 8, we saw the dollar index go from 105.68 up within 2 hours towards 106.30. Within the first hour, just measuring it out, it pretty much went up by a good 40 pips. 2 hours, it went up by a good 65 pips to the upside, and eventually went up a good 90 pips. So that could still work out very similarly on the pound dollar. Right now, what we're looking out for is in 6 minutes for this push to the upside. Those who are possibly going to be a little bit more aggressive, which I'm thinking about, is whether, let me move this slightly to the side. Okay, you could also be looking at, and this, bear in mind, is high risk. It's entering before the news. I don't recommend this for everyone. You do need to know what you're getting into, but you could be looking at a trade at this point. Stop loss 30 pips. You're looking at a good 80 pips to the upside there. Right, towards that resistance. We're looking, right now, it seems like we're very biased towards upside for the pound dollar. But that's what you could be looking out for, right? Especially if you're looking to enter before the news, you could be 1.2190, 30 pip stop loss, 80 pip take profit. Even if it doesn't get to 80 pips, you could be looking to get out, at 60 pips. It's still 1:2, or 80 up to that resistance level there. We got 5. Oh, that freaked me out a little bit. Okay, we got 4 minutes to the news. We're looking forward to that. Okay, so just a quick update here on the pound dollar. We were looking at CPI data, so now we're going to, no point updating that. We'll do that at the end. Okay, so we'll look for that to play out. Hey Goju, how you doing? Hey D-Train. Remember that you want to size down, especially during a major news event. I am actually tempted. I'm actually possibly going to go in on a small lot size, getting in before the news for the pound dollar. I'm going to take a risk on that. Could it come right back down? Yes, but that's also why you have your stop loss in place. For taking a risk, you can have your stop loss in place just to take advantage of the potential move. In this, if you are entering before the news, there is opportunity also to keep your stop loss even tighter. You might be looking at even a 20 pip stop loss here, which is what I'm going to do. Okay. So we got the news coming out. Okay, look at our M15 time frame here. It might come back down a little bit. And for me, if I get in before the news, if I'm looking to get in before the news, I'll leave it right to the last moment. Right, I wouldn't get in any earlier than maybe a minute before, just right before the news, not this couple of minutes before. $2185 is good, so we can look at that. And that's only a 15 pip. So think about it, it's a 15 pip stop loss. Is somewhat well worth the risk. Even if I come up to this point, it's a 30 pip take. That previous high, it's a 1-2 to the upside. If you are getting any trades, do let me know. Put it into the chat. I'll be keen to see what you do as well. So let's give it that that 1 minute, that 55 seconds right now. "30 seconds to the release." You see the pound dollar now pushing back down a bit, and that's why I don't want to get in too early before the news, because imagine if you got in right there, right now you'll be in the red. Just thinking now, would it actually push all the way down? News release. What's the number gonna be? There we go, it's moving up. I still haven't got my number. I'm pretty sure some of you would have got your number already. $6.7 BL says, so it's as expected, or not as expected, it's still as previous. We're looking for, thanks for that, Pips Apprentice. Why is mine still pending? It's thinking about it. Right, so that's running up, that's good. So it's moving somewhat as planned, well, not somewhat as planned, it's exactly as planned. Release at 6.7. My forex factory has given up on me. Okay, there you go. Came out at 6.7, core 6.1. Quite a good news, lower than previous. Okay, but at this, remember this is an M15 time frame. What you'll see here is that it pushed up and now it's retracing back down. Remember that, especially now if you look at the M1 This is a 1 minute time frame. This is a very similar pattern to what we've always seen, right? Where if you attended my non-farm live trading sessions, we always look for that move to happen, right? So now I've already seen that first part, a push, impulse push to the upside, a retracement. Now we're looking for that next push back up. If you're more conservative, then you look to get in past this point. You'll be looking for that buy here. You're looking for that buy here. If not, then about halfway through that down, you could be looking at a buy as well. Okay, not ready yet if you are not in a trade already. We need this is on a 1 minute time frame. We need this to close out, close green, maybe close a little bit higher. If it closes green at this point, I'll still be, if I haven't entered a trade, I'll still be waiting, but I want it to close a little bit higher. If it closes above this point at about that 1.22 level, then it's something that you could be looking at. All right, close green, but next moment it spike back down. Use my FX book as fast as ever. Okay, I'll try that next time. Thanks for that, Phantom FX. Okay. PPI is at 0.4. So it's still relatively, we should still see the pound dollar push to the upside. M5, oops, let me just take that one away. M5 is still pushing up. It's going to retrace a little bit. It's going to consolidate. Look at it consolidating at this point, right? And why it came back down is because that first spike up, way outside of Bollinger, came right back in, now pushing back up again. Okay. Again, remember, I just deleted that little scribble, but what we're looking for is that move above this point. So we're looking for that move above to start thinking that this is going to continue higher again. Okay, still waiting a little bit, still thinking about it, but I do think that that's going to play out. Did anyone get in before the news? Okay, look at that pushing up. So that's going to continue to the upside. I don't want to say I'm quite certain, but I'm looking forward to it climbing towards that 1.22, almost 1.2220 level. Right, 5 minute time frame. It's outside of Bollinger. We might see it retrace a little bit, but overall still pushing to the upside. That on the M15 time frame again, you see that was the push, that first move. So if you caught that, good job. We up. What do you mean we up? Yeah, but it's getting there. I've got that trade running. I would possibly, what I would do, okay, so what I did was that I got in before the news and in on pound yen after. Good job, Ishmael. I'm not even looking at pound yen, I'm just going to focus on pound dollar. What I did do, get in there, 1.2885, 1.2185, not 8. Then what I would do is I'll look to get out. Right? Although I think that it's going to push up, I'll look to get out at that 1.2220 level. Maybe just before. I think I was going to think 1.2220. Maybe even 1.2215. I'll look to get out. Right, I'll look to get out at that point, and then let it continue, and if it breaks past that high and continue up to 1.2230, then I'll get in again for the next move towards the resistance. Just because you can never be too sure that it's going to break past that high. You just want to, I want to secure a trade, and then that move is a good 30 pip move to the upside, then that makes that almost risk-free. Or even if it comes down and hit my stop at 20, I'm still up 10. Jordan in with just 0.25 risk, practicing, very good. That's the best way to learn. Okay, so looking at the pound dollar in this case, you see it coming back in. I don't think it'll come back in all the way, or I might just jinx it. But in this case, remember that you're in profit already, right? If you did get in, you're in profit. What you can also do is make sure that you secure that. So never let this get past that 1.2185 level, right? Even if it comes down to 1.2190, I will close out the trade, secure a small profit rather than to let it get into the loss. The worst thing is to get a profit into a loss, because you've not just lost capital, you've lost potential profit as well. So at this point, 1.22046, 1.2205, still looking for that to push up towards that level. Okay, this is on a 1 minute time frame with a 30 pip take profit on the line. I'll move that in so that we can zoom in and have a look at that better. How about that? Getting onto a stream, getting 30 pips, and then after that, looking out for the next possible move of move that right across of another 40 pips. If that continues up, that's a good 70 pip move for today. I'm pretty sure it will hit everyone's expectation or blast past everyone's expectation in terms of results for today. With what we're looking at here on the pound dollar, then looking at the dollar index, it is moving as planned. It's coming down to that 61.8. Remember, as pound dollar gets stronger, that's going to drag the dollar index down, right? It's going to drag the dollar index to the downside, because pound dollar is the second biggest component of the dollar index. So we're looking for this to break below 61.8 towards the downside. That is going to lead to further upside on the pound dollar. Do a quick check here on the Kiwi dollar, slowly climbing to the upside, so it's forming up. Aussie dollar getting very close, something to look out for as well. US yen, I think that any downward move at this point, not ready to sell yet. I still want to see it test 150, so I'm not too keen at this point. Pound dollar is still pushing up. We are 10 minutes into the news. You see that on the dollar, on the H1 time frame, it's still well within the plan, right? It's still at that Bollinger. I do think that we're going to see continuation to the upside. This is on the 5 minute time frame. Not far away now. Good, just almost 5 pips away from take profit. Okay, not many people do live trades as it happens. So if you can help me out, click that like and subscribe button. A quick reminder for that. If you click on it, we're going to hit our take profit. So click on it to hit our take profit. Okay, so that's going to run. I just want to see it get to that point. I want to close out my trade, and then we'll continue on with the euro dollar, the Swiss, the CAD, the loonie, and the and gold as well. Okay. Okay, what I'll do as well at this point, no, I'll do it slightly before. I'll put an alert there. Okay, so once this closes out and then comes close to this point, then we'll look at the next trade to the upside. 1.2210 now, 5 away, retracing a little bit. 1 minute time frame is showing a bit of a consolidation. I'm looking for that to happen. Right, I'm looking for something similar to happen here. Or it could just pop up, hit my take profit, and then we'll move on. If you're new to the session, do drop a message, say hi, let me know that you're here. Let me know where you're joining us from. Right, I think that it's going to sit there for a minute or two before pushing up. We're 3 minutes away from the 15-minute candle close, which might actually see this retrace a little bit deeper. So what I'll be looking at is if in the next 2 minutes, or in the next minute actually, if it doesn't close out higher, right, then I would close out my trade. So you don't have to wait for it to hit take profit, right? It's only a 5 pip difference, barely 5 pip difference. I'm happy to forego the 5 instead of losing more to the downside. So it's sitting right there now. And we're still waiting. Interesting session, BL says. I hope it's an interesting and profitable session for a lot of you guys. See that sitting right across. It's popping back down. You can see that on the M15, it's probably trying to come back in. M5 as well. Love to see MT4 in blue. It's in green. MT4 is usually in green. I love to see the greens. As much as you're going to get addicted to seeing the greens, you know, sometimes, a lot of times my MT4 is not even in green. There's no color on it because I don't wait for it to hit take profit. It pops up, you know, comes close to even take profit, I'll close out the trade. So it doesn't always have to be in green on a take profit level. All right, I'm closing out my trade. Okay, I close out right there. Oops. I close out right there. And right after I close out the trade, it pops up. Retracing, yeah. I'm out already. I'm out of my trade there. Got good 20 pips, about 20, 21 pip move to the upside. I'm just going to let it run and see where it goes from this point. Okay, so that was my pre-news. I don't recommend it to a lot of people. It is higher risk. It is a little bit speculative. That's also because I'm looking at the data. I'm expecting some numbers, and that's why I got into that. You know, it's not I don't say that you should gamble on this. That's out, so I would love to see it come back down. Okay, I'm out of that. So now let's see what happens. Let's take that one away. See, H1 is back in the Bollinger. M15 looks like it's going to come back down a little bit more. M5 sitting right there. I still see an upside on the pound dollar, but it might take a little bit longer. I just want to secure that trade there. Okay. I'm wondering why this event does not affect the ES futures. What is ES futures? If this indirectly affects the dollar index, which is inversely correlated to ES, again, don't know what's ES, I would think ES would go up. It is indirectly correlated to the dollar index, but we are seeing the move mostly from the pound dollar. If you're looking at the euro, it's pushed up, but not by a lot. Kiwi pushed up, but not by a lot as well. Aussie still sitting right there. US yen still sitting right there. So dollar index in the scheme of things over the since the news was released, 106.13, now down to 106. So it hasn't really moved that much. What we're seeing here on the charts is strength on the pound, not so much weakness on the dollar, right? Why it's coming down a little bit is that relative weakness. So I think that, again, I don't know what's ES futures, but I think that if you are looking at a dollar index, two futures, possibly going to need bigger move on the dollar index to see that correlation play out. Okay. Good question there. Caught me. Shows why you don't need to know everything. Alrighty. What happened to US yen yesterday is becoming fearful to trade. If it's fearful to trade, don't trade it. US yen had a big spike down, pushed right back up, still along that trend line, still looking for it to test 150 before possibly looking to go down. Delarose, I will be doing gold. We will get there shortly. Right now, just paying a little bit more attention to the pound dollar, just because of that recent news release. Very happy that I got out of my pound dollar trade. I think that we might actually see this retrace now at the 23. If this fails, if this level fails, then we're going to see it come down to about 38.2, which is quite a deep retrace. ES futures is the futures for EMI-IC, okay. With that, nowadays, price tend to retrace sometime after news. It's always the case, not just nowadays. So it does tend to retrace. Taking profit, right? I added to this move because everyone's traded that up, took profit, and see it coming back down again. Then we're possibly going to see it push back up higher. Okay, so now continuing on with the other currency pairs, the euro dollar in this case. Yesterday we were looking for it, inverted head and shoulder, break that neckline to the upside. You'll see here that if you did catch that break, the next moment it will come down and hit your stop loss. Right, it will come down and hit your stop loss before continuing up, now pushing higher. If you caught that trade, you probably would have hit a 20 pip stop loss on the euro. In this case, what I'm looking out for now is a test of, I would even say this point, because this 61.8 was not broken, which coincided with this level. So I would say this is my resistance level here. Okay, so what I'm looking for on the euro dollar in this case would be a continuation to that 1.0642 or 40 level. Right, this is done already. It's broken everything. 61.8 tested and broken, so take that one away. Inverted head and shoulder is done, take that away. Now what I would be looking for, does it work in a channel? Nope. If it breaks past this point, we're going to see that move. I don't think it's worth trading that up. A good 40 pip move, but stop loss is going to be a bit variable. So I would say that euro dollar, look for a reaction along that resistance level. So we're looking for this to push up and test that 1.06, almost 1.0650 level, and we look for a reaction there. With no major news, I don't think we're going to see a change here. We could be looking for a break of that resistance 1.0650, take profit 80 pips, stop loss tight at about 20 pips. All right, we're looking for continuation to the upside. So euro, where am I? Okay. Buy 1.0650, stop loss 20, take profit 80 pips to the upside. Continuation, break above that resistance. A lot more waiting to do there on the euro dollar. US Swiss franc finally breaking the double bottom. That did not work out. We can even take that one away. That's breaking my support to the downside. I'm not sure whether this is going to be, this is a good 40 pip move. Bollinger is just right there. What you might want to consider is possibly an alternate scenario here on the US Swiss franc is if the dollar fails to break below 61.8, we might see this bounce back up. And if it does bounce back up, this could be breaking that support, grabbing that liquidity to push back up again. Speculatively, we could be looking at 9010, take profit, good 70 pip to the upside, stop loss, 30 pips. We're looking for that push back up. So we're looking for this to push back up. And this is if we see that dollar weakness or the dollar strength come back into play. 9010, stop loss 30, take profit 70. This is if we see DXY recover in strength. Alrighty. Then on to the US CAD, doing very nicely. Look at that. This was yesterday's news on the CAD. Right, we were expecting some strength as the CPI data showed a continued slowdown in inflation growth. So what we actually saw on the 8:30 news, zoom in a little bit, this was at 8 o'clock, right? We saw this push up because of that dollar strength pushing it up. So we saw the CAD push up, but dollar weakness continued with CAD strength pushing it back down. So moving as planned back down, but it is right in the middle of that support and resistance level at this point. So I wouldn't do anything here on the US CAD. That trade played out well, or is playing out well. I would say that at the current level of 1.3630, best to sit out and wait. I was thinking whether it might be worth doing something down here, but it's too narrow. It's a 30 pip move. You go tight at 15. You could do that. I would say that it's not worth effort, because we do see a lot of other opportunities, but this could be, if you really had to, this would be something that you look out for. So below 1.36 down to that support level. No, no. What I think is, because we can't see that support as this level, that support is right across. Okay, so what I would be looking out for is possibly for the US CAD to come down towards that support level at 1.3570. So US CAD, I would say, likely continue down, look for reaction at 1.3570. There we go. Hey Lazar, how are you doing? Good to have you with us. Thank you. What settings are you using on the Bollinger Bands? Exactly the standard settings. 20 closed and 2 standard deviation. 0 offset. Okay. I'm just looking at that as it's looking for it to try and break that 61.8. Alright, so with all that done, then let's do a quick check on pound dollar again. Right, look, it's completely retraced. You're most welcome. You're most welcome there, Lazar. So it came back down to that 38.2. Still looking for that pattern, still looking for it to push back up, not ready yet. Okay, so then looking at gold, oops. This is what we said yesterday. Gold above 1924 could climb to 1950. It broke above, right? This was yesterday. At this time, we were right here at 1921. It broke above 1924, pushed up very close, as high as 1942.89 to that 1950 level. Right now, gold is consolidating, right? You see it consolidating at this point. I do see it right now at 1937, 1938. Looking at it on the previous highs. If I caught the right at the top there is 1952. So a breakout of consolidation. A breakout of this consolidation could see it get to 1952. So just continuing on with the upward move is above 1940. We could see it get to 1952 or 1953. 1953. There we have it. That's the whole set done, with pound dollar being the last one. Too many lines here. Let me think of what the lines are. Okay, take that one away. Take that one away. Needs to break above this point before we see further upside. So pound dollar, what we're looking for is to buy at above that 50% level. So 122.30, 20 pip stop, 40 pip take. So buy 122.30. Yeah, 20 and 40. Stop loss 20, take profit 40 pips to the upside. Alrighty, there we have it. That's a set of what we have today. The main thing is that we're still looking for this dollar index to break that 61.8 retracement level to head down to the support. Kiwi dollar is right in the middle there, still not ready. A bit more waiting to do. That could be a big move eventually. Aussie dollar breaks above that resistance towards the next. Still waiting for that. I want to see this bounce off of this trend line to trade up and then trigger a big move down. Pound dollar, because of the news that we just saw, I'm anticipating that it should continue to push up, maybe later into the day. It breaks above that previous high and the 50% level, then we're going to see it continue higher. Euro dollar, right in the middle there, so I want to see it test that resistance before looking for the next move. The Swiss looks like it's going to come down, but something to think about is a counter trend move back up. The loonie is, we're looking for it to come down to the support. I wouldn't force any trades. If you wanted to trade it down, you'd be scalping, you'd be doing short intraday trades. And then on gold, we're looking for it to break out of that consolidation to the upside. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed the session. I hope you made money or had good practice on trading a news event. I think this was a very good news event. We didn't see a big impulsive move that we couldn't catch. There was good opportunities either entering before the news, entering during the news, and also now entering after the news. So I think this was a good, and that's why I wanted to schedule this session earlier, just so that we can do something like this together. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. And if you did, please help me out. Click that little rocket ship button and also the thumbs up button on YouTube. The links are there for the Discord channel. Again, I look forward to seeing you all on Discord. So please trade well, trade safe. I'll see you on Discord. If not, I'll see you tomorrow, same time at 3 p.m. Here online. Take care now. Bye-bye.